Special event alert.
My kid turned off the alarm on my clock, which is excuse number 3 for being late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Eric Perrott, Mr. History.
I got a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Beware.
Our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
Good to see you guys, as always.
And the inventor of the breakdance armadillo, Anna Mondragon.
Woo!
Armadillo claws are the most intimidating.
Hey, that could win me points in the Olympics, just saying.
Oh, you would have to wear hair that like comes out of your sleeve because those armadillos have hairy hands.
But they got long fingers, I think, too.
And then I can lay on my back and just...
Oh, you're done.
Have somebody else spin you.
Yes! Yes!
Run by with a cardboard dump truck.
You're in, man. You're in.
As she spins.
So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover. Good to see you all again for another happy Tuesday night.
I like it.
Happy Tuesday. Taco
It is a happy Tuesday. How's your week go?
Well, I was experimenting with SpaceX, and it didn't work very good on the ground either. So,
for the first time, I've seen an ad for Starlink. It's $2.99.
really,
Oh, there you
I
go.
don't know if they have a monthly fee on top of that, but to get the receiver, it's $2.99. I have no idea how that works.
I have Starlink.
Did the Velcro
You have
stick to stuff or
Starlink?
something, Eric?
it just didn't work. I didn't have any details for you. It just didn't work.
Okay. Because I think Marty thought you said SpaceX or something.
I think he did too.
Or
You didn't
wanna-
say space? Did you say space sex?
Yeah, and it
Yes.
just didn't work
I was
out
just
down here.
experimenting with SpaceX, and it didn't work.
I thought you were trying to flank.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna let him. We will not flank away from this, Marty.
Conversational flank.
Yeah, good. Thanks for calling me out. I had a little feedback there, so I thought you said SpaceX.
No, it was trying to be funny with a little SpaceX. Sorry.
Intercourse.
With a little space? Little space?
Intercourse.
Little space. It's like interstellar
SpaceX.
intercourse.
Mhm.
Ah, see?
Could be
SpaceX.
both interstellar intercourse.
Interstellar.
He went to
Oh.
I-Fi with his wife.
You have interstellar intercourse, you get younger, I think,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
depending on how long you do it.
That's problematic depending on how long you do it.
Jake, I truly didn't have enough Velcro.
That'll happen. That'll happen.
Apparently, I
Yeah.
weigh too much.
You got to get a third person. That was the best solve
true.
last week.
Yeah,
You
the
gotta get a third
Velcro of
person
her
to
arm
assist.
sleeve is stuck in his beard.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
wasn't-
gosh.
I wasn't weightless. You got to be weightless to be on the Velcro. It didn't work. What's that show where they throw you up against the dartboard?
That was probably MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, I think.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Eric's safe word is creatine smoothie, and he's got a leg up here. Creatine smoothie, please.
Brings a
Not
whole
good.
new vibe to SNL.
Yeah. There is
S&M?
got to be.
SNL.
SN.
Right.
Both.
Both.
It's got to be a safe word.
There could be a
SpaceX. That's for
skit.
sure.
Pineapple.
Hydrazine.
That's when everybody comes rushing in. We heard hydrazine leak. Oh, come on.
I told you to change your safe word.
There was a guy stuck on the wall with Velcro. I don't know what the hell he was doing. Jeez.
You guys
Don't
are
judge
up
me.
here till
Don't judge
February.
Exactly.
Well, we got a lot of space news for you. All right. Now, before I hit this first one, I'd like to play you a clip, right, from our show back in July. So pay attention.
This past July? This past
So that's that's what's going on with the ISS. I thought it was interesting that we had more. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, these guys on the Boeing capsule, they're stranded up there." And they're like, "There's there's fucking 9 other people up there.
They got buddies.
Yeah, but their pods work. That's the problem. The Boeing capsule is like, we'll run some tests. We'll get back to you in a week.
The
Hang
guys
out,
with
have a popsicle.
the guys with SpaceX on their Crew Dragon, they're like, hey, just take ours back. Elon will launch another one up here.
Yeah,
next
exactly.
week. Yeah, just take ours, man. Borrow our car.
They're like,
it's okay.
Our suits, they don't work with the touch screen. You can't do it.
Oh,
You got to
was
punch it in
genius.
still.
Where's my joystick?
Damn it.
Oh.
Look at that. That was back in July, right?
Did we call that or what, man?
No kidding. And then
Holy
this
crap.
story comes out just this week.
Oh,
So, from FoxNews.com, spacesuits of Boeing launch astronauts are incompatible with the SpaceX craft.
Yeah.
NASA told Fox News Digital their Boeing spacesuits are made to work with the company's spacecraft, while SpaceX's spacesuits are made to work with its own Dragon vessel, which NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams may ride in on their descent back to Earth. With the commercialization of space, NASA is not as deeply involved as it once was with every aspect of mission and spacecraft design, namely standardization. As a result, an incompatibility between the spacesuits designed by SpaceX and Boeing has reportedly created an issue returning Wilmore and Williams to Earth. The Boeing spacesuit is made to work with the Starliner spacecraft, and the SpaceX is made to work with the Dragon spacecraft. Both were designed to fit each unique spacecraft. NASA didn't confirm whether the issue is detrimental to the astronauts' return. All right?
ship me up an extra large, will ya?
Kinda, right?
And that's what they're going to have to do.
They have
Is
to
strap
do,
it
right?
to the spare seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
I
an
mean,
Easter egg in.
I don't know. Other than like the Crew Dragon, SpaceX's craft, which we know is all touchscreen, right? Which is funny that we said that 2 months ago.
Called
Now we
that.
go right here, right? But I mean, what else would it not be compatible with?
The
it's got to be that.
connections. So that,
Thinking
the
like-
freaking
Oh yeah,
oxygen
all the
connections,
that's right.
harnesses,
Good
like
point.
the shoulders, and might be
I
too
didn't think
big
about
or
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
didn't
good.
think about safety. I was thinking of like oxygen inserts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the pea suit
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
fit the
man.
pea suit.
Can't
That
connect to
could
the
be a
porta
problem.
potty inside.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would suck.
That's a problem, man.
And interestingly enough, that leads to our next story from space.com.
Hold
So
on one
this is-
second. Is
What?
Boeing gonna get fired yet? Because Boeing needs
No.
to be fired.
Not
Come
until
on,
they
man.
get
Yeah,
the guy, not
also-
until they get them all
Gotta be
back.
fired.
Look, we were joking around about Australia and the breakdancer. Everybody was, right?
Yeah.
But how much of we as America have to look like asshats to other countries right now?
In
We
what way?
can't-
Oh, then
we
we got
can't-
those guys stranded
The
up there.
American election,
Yeah.
the guys are stranded,
Oh,
the
yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
random
Oh,
yeah, I forgot about those.
protests. They're like, dude,
I
America's
forgot about the
going
political
crazy.
shit.
Get it together, America.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Ugh.
Right?
Good
Like,
point.
My thought
Yeah.
process is why don't they just launch another SpaceX Dragon, whatever, with extra spacesuits?
Well,
that's what they were gonna have.
that's
to do, right?
what this article covers on it. Very good thinking. So, from space.com, Boeing Starliner astronauts will return home on a SpaceX Dragon in 2025, and NASA confirms it. Right?
Okay.
Okay. But
We
2025
called that too.
We
We
did.
called that because Elon doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna come down, or sorry, he doesn't care. He's gonna
Yeah,
be like,
right.
I'll bring you back, but you're not coming back early. My boys are still gonna be up there.
Well,
And
that's the whole
Boeing,
thing.
You're
you're
like-
gonna pay me. Boeing, you're gonna pay me.
Probably.
Guarantee it.
That's where you came up with Space Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Uber.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Space Uber. But this is different. So on Saturday, last Saturday, NASA announced its final decision regarding the fates of two astronauts aboard the ISS, whose original 8-day space jaunt had turned into a nebulous, there was nebulous multi-month excursion. Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who launched the ISS on June 5th, will now return home no earlier than February of 2025.
Unbelievable, man.
So
how much does an astronaut make in space?
It's got to be tax.
oh, you mean like TDY? Do they get
And
TDY?
tax-free.
Is there space TDY pay?
Hardship pay, probably.
Family separation.
Well, they definitely got the tax-free part, right?
Yeah.
What is it,
Yeah.
60 days, I think, or whatever? So, so what they're going to do is, instead of just SpaceX launching it up there and bringing them back, SpaceX had a planned mission that was already supposed to go. I think it's already been delayed. But they were going to send 4 astronauts up. Now, SpaceX is only going to send 2 astronauts up and bring Butch and Sonny back with them, but they're going to finish out their mission and come back in February
On their schedule, correct?
on their schedule.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, can you? Thanks for the seats, but can you also send up 2 spacesuits too?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Spacesuits.
Extra large. Make sure it works. Fits.
Oh,
Come on.
what else you want?
Where are the Gilligan Island Boeing Star ISS memes? Where are those?
They should make a movie
Freaking
about this,
3-hour
like a
tour.
series.
It was a
Turns
5-day
into 10
tour. Yeah.
months?
That would be
Freaking
awesome.
10 months?
That would be so fun.
Where are those memes?
Excuse
That would
me.
be an excellent series.
And they're going to bring Starliner back, obviously remotely, but they just don't have confidence that they can guarantee safety all the way back through reorbit or deorbit. So, but this is funny. Because of all the uncertainty, NASA emphasizes that it's too risky to attempt bringing Wilmore and Williams back to the planet. Within the Starliner capsule, the choice to keep them up there until February means they'll have to remain on the Earth orbiting station for an unanticipated total of about 8 months.
Wow.
Wow.
That's just. Can you imagine what their families are thinking? Man.
They're
Right,
retirees.
I mean-
Both of their spouses are like, thank goodness. They were spending way too much time at home. I needed a little bit more of a break.
I hope so, because it's ridiculous.
Or Butch's wife is like, I fucking told you.
Oh yeah, right.
You had to have
Told you,
one last
Boeing.
hurrah, Butch.
Boeing was a piece of
One
shit.
last
I told you.
hurrah.
That's right. He's been up a lot. You know, it's not his
Yep.
first time up there. It's
And now
Sonny's
he's
first
stuck.
time up there, I think. But now he's
Oh,
and now
Butch is-
if he'd have been like me with my fence, I'd have been like, I'll fix it when I get back. I'm only up there for 5
Oh,
days,
that'd be
right?
great.
Don't worry.
You know there's some chores that are
Meanwhile,
like
that fence
that.
is like,
Oh, yeah.
"Grr."
You know damn well there's some honeydew chores like that.
That list is getting bigger every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Sonny's like,
Uh,
hey, can somebody call my mortgage company? Because I don't have good Wi-Fi.
I didn't set up auto pay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still writing checks.
Can you imagine all that little nitnoid stuff?
Ooh.
That would drive you nuts.
If they don't have
Oh.
a spouse, they're like,
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't call them. It's like, hey, can you turn my sprinklers off?
yeah.
Can you FaceTime that from space? I bet you could.
Oh, I don't know. I guess. I mean, I suppose they have some way. They
Oh,
gotta
I
have
bet
some
they
way,
do.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
You know?
they connect and have video conference all the time.
Routed.
On the NASA
Routed
channel and
through-
everything.
Yeah, the NASA channel.
They did
So
it on
research-
Armageddon.
Oh,
Hadn't happened in Armageddon. It's got to
Yeah.
be real. It's going to happen.
Oh, they-
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. In
Yeah, they could do
Armageddon,
it
they
in-
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could do it in Armageddon. That's a good
I
point.
think so too. You know what's standing out
ISS.
though is the professor sticking out the window of the capsule, trying to put tape around the window. That's what I'm seeing now.
Yep. Good one.
what? Why is he putting tape
From
around
Gilligan's.
the window?
To hold the window in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The professor's trying to fix it.
I got you.
Right. now.
Well, but he'd be doing it with like coconuts or something like that, right? Well, maybe
They're
he's
doing
got
it with
enough.
P-packs.
Yeah,
Diapers.
Packs and Velcro.
Yep. Lots of Velcro up here, boys and girls. We can use that.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe they've been up there so long they're growing potatoes. You know,
Oh, yeah,
they're
good point.
In their dirty
rehydrating their own
chonies.
shit.
That's what they're growing potatoes in.
Yeah.
Oh
They
my
went up there
goodness.
with one sweatsuit, and now they got friggin' nothing, man, for
That's turnips.
5 months. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Buzz.
They're sprouted.
Come on, man.
They're sprouted.
Dude,
You're
it
talking
reeks
about
like
monkey
kimchi
butt.
in here, and I've told you about it
Oh.
before. We don't have any kimchi in the food packs, so I know it's not that. Come on, man.
Serious monkey butt, man.
ISS
Rub-a-dub.
program manager. ISS program manager Dana Weigel said, in terms of supply allocation, all astronauts currently aboard the station have been fine, and there hasn't been a need to ration. Why would you bring that up?
Right?
Everybody's concerned.
So
We're
we-
definitely not rationing up there.
If anything, we've got too much pee. Wait, no, what?
We're throwing it at the Russian every morning he wakes up. New prank.
Play
Great.
Oh, my goodness.
dodgeball with it.
Got you.
All right, so here's the capper. In 2014, NASA awarded Boeing a $4.2 billion contract to build a capsule that sees 6 crewed flights to the ISS. SpaceX received a similar $2.6 billion contract that year and has since completed 9 flights in its Dragon capsule. Crew 9 would mark the 10th flight.
Time to redistribute
Oh.
some funds.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, that's quite a bit. That's quite a lot of money
A lot
for
of money.
no show.
What a failure.
Boeing's got good lobbyists, though, huh?
I guess.
Apparently. Yeah,
Oof.
apparently.
SpaceX is screwing up. Clearly, they don't even need to perform. They just need better lobbyists.
When this whole thing started, if we were comedy writers, we could have filmed a bit of like, hey, let's check in with Butch and Sonny, right? Who
Yeah.
knew it was going to, that could have been a whole
God.
year's
Oh,
worth
Oh yeah.
of weekly fun, right?
I'm thinking we
Weekly
may have to hire us some writers because we come up with the shit too late. You know what I mean?
And they were like, "Hey, did you listen to that Late for Changeover podcast where they're talking about having sex in space? Did you listen to that part?" I think we got an attachment that'll work.
Oh, hey now.
Every week, Butch could come out and was like, "What about this one?"
He's yelling that in the other room. What
Velcro
about this
wrap.
one to Sonny?
A big robotic arm.
Hey, Sonny,
You
what
think we
about
could-
this one? Huh? By the time we get Amazon up here, it's not going to be relevant.
I just tested it and it seemed to work.
Order the helmet first, Butch, please. I'm not going to deal with the I have a headache again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, if we had any creativity, we could have ran it for almost a year. That would have been awesome.
You know what would be
I'm just-
absolutely horrible is if they heard this because they are.
Yeah, that's true. Who knows? They may love it. They may like that's
not a
what
lot
got
of
us
space
through.
podcasts, is there?
That's what got us through. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get a formal complaint from NASA. Okay, guys.
That would be awesome.
That's enough.
The morale of the Boeing team is really suffering right now. And you guys are just
You know,
dicking
it would be worse if we got some message from a Boeing lawyer.
Oh,
Oh, that'd
Hey,
be hilarious.
We'd like to talk to you guys about.
we
your
need to find somebody to
defamation.
share the video with. Then we got to find a.
I'd be
Boeing
like,
employee.
I just
Hey, check this
volunteer.
out.
Marty runs the whole thing.
I'd
It's
be like,
Marty.
hey, you want to come on the podcast? We'd love to have you.
Marty gives me the lines.
We're
Talk
doing
about your
we're doing
successes.
auction. We're doing space auction. I heard
Yeah,
Starliner's
nice.
up for auction next week. So
Oh,
Boom.
look,
they're selling it cheap
Boom.
too. Selling it cheap.
this is a random rant. I just found the U.S. Marshals auction site, and U.S. Treasury has an auction site also.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Oh.
U.S. Marshals confiscate so many aircraft that they have their own link for it.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
dude. They
Dude,
are
send me
just-
those links. We'll play that game
All
next week. We'll
Oh,
do a
man.
U.S. Marshal auction.
Because
That's
I was
better
just
than-
looking at real estate. I was like, what is?
Yeah, but that's better than bidding on like duffel bags and sleeping
Oh, yeah.
bags and stuff. That'd
U.S.
be
Marshals
awesome.
are like, how do you feel about this Cessna? or a Boeing 737. You're like, what the?
Or a
Who
Wow.
bids on a 737? This is insane.
Well, another drug dealer.
Exactly. That's
I need a
exactly.
plane.
Number 2.
They got a better front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good news coming down the pike for the National Guard, potentially.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
Space Boys.
So from stripes.com, Trump pledges to create a space National Guard if reelected.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Well,
Right.
then that means it
That
ain't
could
gonna
be
happen.
700 extra votes
Very
for
big
Trump.
possibility.
Right. Speaking at the annual meeting of the National Guard Association of the United States, former President Donald Trump said Monday that if he is elected, if he is reelected to the White House, he will create a space National Guard to support the newest military branch that he established under his previous term in office, or just keep the guard that does space. Right? You don't really have to create anything. It's just like give them new uniforms.
Uniforms.
During Trump's first presidential term, he announced the creation of the Space Force as a service branch. It was established under the Department of the Air Force on December 20th, 2019. Or if you're Scarlett Johansson, in July of 2019.
I do recall that.
Since then, there has been debate about how creating a part-time reserve option for the Space Force could help bring talented people into the military who might otherwise seek higher-paying civilian jobs. A group of bipartisan senators has filed legislation to create a space National Guard that has failed to gain traction and congressional resistance and opposition from the White House. A report released in April that reviewed the option of creating a space National Guard raised concerns that recruiting and retaining members for a Space Guard would be challenging because it would only have about 700 personnel at most. The report also described it could be an expensive option, though relatively easy to implement quickly. I thought we already had Guard doing space.
We do.
We don't have to
We
create
have-
Air Force Guard.
anything.
We have an Air Force National
We
Guard.
don't have to recruit
They're National
anybody. It's already there.
Swap out the uniform. Cheers.
Yeah, it's just the patch.
Yeah.
Hey, would it? So, just hypothetical. Would it be a big deal if they didn't move them over to space and just say this portion of the Air Force Guard supports Space Force?
Well, that's a good point.
I'm sure
Why-
Kamala will think that. She's not
It's
going to
still-
agree with
it's
anything
still-
Trump.
I just don't know, like the funding
It's
lines
still
and all that stuff.
unclear
Yeah, I don't know.
why they want to do away with Guard and Reserve. That still is unclear because there is no viable plan of how to do active duty,
Well-
part-time, and full-time. What orders are you going to be on?
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though, right? Are you going to stand up all your own admins? Because right now,
No,
all the
it's
admin,
all-
all the
yeah.
CSA. So would the Air Force Guard support the Space Guard in that aspect?
Well, that's a good
Well,
question.
right
That's a
now,
good
I'm
question.
sure until something
Well, now,
changed,
yeah,
right?
then
They've
I'm
sat
just
on it because
curious.
they have
you would
no
have to
idea.
stand up a bunch of people.
Yes.
I think
Right.
the states are upset. I think it has something to do with the state funding.
Yeah,
Right.
It
Good
does.
point.
Air
It
National
does.
Guard is associated with the state.
yeah.
And I know there's a bunch of governors that got together and said, "Hey, you can't mess with our militia or
Yeah.
our National Guard." I don't
Yeah.
think constitutionally they can do it. So that's probably why it's not moving forward. Maybe not constitutionally, but there's some there's something in there that says the state's military is state controlled. The government
then-
can't take that away.
What in the world would the state do with a Space National Guard? What role would they play?
Yeah, I
in the
know.
That's
state?
They
what we
wouldn't. They
were
wouldn't.
saying
They wouldn't do
earlier, yeah.
anything for the state. Of course, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So
But
funding
still,
would be an issue.
technically, it's National Guard, so it belongs to the state, and they can't
Hmm.
take it no matter what they're doing.
Huh.
Of course, they just need them to go help put out fires and crowd control. And
right. The
does
border.
it strike any of you guys? I mean, we've all been around National Guard guys, right? I mean, when they're like, "Hey, call out the National Guard for this riot," I've seen most National Guard guys, and they're like, I don't know, they're like Anna in Germany. They're like, "Oh,
Right?
shit.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Give
Yeah.
me ammo. I don't know what to do
Yeah.
with it." Right?
I feel bad for when those National Guard guys get called out.
I do
You're
too.
like, oh man.
And they're like, "Oh, they're helping with flooding," and you just see those sorry sons of bitches filling sandbags, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, God.
But
Now,
I mean,
there's
that's
some of the
that's a good
rescue
purpose,
guys.
though. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good purpose. I mean, that's
Yeah.
good stuff. That's good support.
Some of the rescue guys are living for that, though. But then other
Sure.
groups, like, other groups
And there's
are like, what am I
a
doing?
certain percentage. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you want me to go down the border? I'm there. How many of my guns can I bring? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then there's a bunch that are like, I'll go down for the weekend,
Yeah.
but I
Pay
gotta
me
be
for
back
Saturday
in the
and Sunday.
store on Monday. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out because I don't
it is.
see
Yeah.
a role. I really
Well, it says the Department of the Air Force is moving forward with plans to allow for part-time service in the regular Space Force, which makes no sense.
Isn't that the same as the reserves?
Yes,
I don't
that's
know
what
why
I
they're
mean.
having to change everything. It's
I wish
It's
they would have
work.
given us
Why change it?
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us reasons.
I
Like,
don't think
hey, this is problematic because 1, your force is too small. 2, they're too specialized, or whatever. However it pans out. But there's nothing. They're like,
Right,
we're having
right.
difficulty doing this.
Yeah.
But
Why?
no, we'll just treat them with silence.
Yeah.
They'll go
Ladies
away.
and gentlemen, straight from barber school, we have
what?
Juanito Lopez.
How about that?
Mhm.
Look at that. What'd you get out of school early tonight, or what?
Yeah. So
Nice.
and then I was like,
Okay, that was
I can still log in, and then
nice.
Yeah.
so
Because
Well,
you
welcome.
were at the manscaping area and you're like, I got
I was
this.
like-
I can cut the time down perfect.
and then that's my excuse for being
Look
late.
at my homework.
Yeah.
Right here. Zip.
Oh,
They're like, oh,
Loser.
So,
Marty,
so I
did
see
you hear that
Hey.
reason? Late for changeover?
not an
Manscaping.
ingrown in sight.
So I see
oh,
That
that's
would
a
have been
good
a
one.
great excuse.
That'll be next week's.
Mhm.
Oh,
so
I
saw-
was manscaping, which is excuse number 16 for being
Oh, you gotta
late
make
for
sure
change.
that them boys are nice and smooth,
Yeah.
not prickly.
Are you straight razor or
oh man.
You know, I'm more of the natural, the baboosh. I'm more of like, Chinese finger. It's like Chinese finger traps when I go down there. It's like, oh, I can't get this out.
Baboosh. It reminds me of Bugaboosh or whatever it's called. You are talking about that.
Honey, I did it again.
Put it on Greek
Fingers trapped.
Can you imagine
Bring
how
the
that
tongs,
feels on
bring the
Velcro,
tongs.
fellas? Like, you get that stuck on Velcro, man. That'll hurt.
Oh yeah. Juan, you are a
Oh.
hazard if you're
That's
naked
a
up in
hazard.
space with all that Velcro running around.
Oh
Mhm.
man,
Yeah.
I
I'm
was
just gonna
say,
see arms and legs flailing.
Scratches
No.
everywhere.
So you guys are talking about the Space National Guard. And that's what. Did you guys just get on this topic?
Well, we read through most of it. It was just Trump saying he's gonna do the Space National Guard if he gets reelected.
Which is
So,
interesting because have you guys actually read the NDAs? What's in law? So the states are not going to lose those billets. So like the space billets that are out there for Colorado or whatever, those
Yeah.
billets are not going to be lost. They're actually going to go back to the Air National Guard. So the National Guard's going to grab those billets again. So really, even if he created the National Guard or whatever, there's nothing being gained out of it. It's
so
also-
what
I
you're
don't-
saying is the states won't lose those billets. They'll
They
still
will not
keep
lose
manpower.
jobs.
They may not be labeled.
Exactly. So
Okay.
people need to know what's on the NDA before they make an assumption that those jobs are lost to Title 10. They're not. They're staying with the state. So as the way the NDA reads for taking those Title 32 missions back to all Title 10.
Well, it is interesting because we just read through the article and he's like, I'm going to create it. And I was like, well, you don't have to create it at all. Just change the title. Just change the name tapes. That's all you got to do, right? Because they're already there. So
Yeah, but I mean, even like I now with the part-time, so I did get a little bit smarter on the part-time stuff this weekend. So the way the part-time thing is that the reason they're
Oh,
doing
wait, are you talking about part-time for the Space Force?
for the Space Force,
Regular Space Force.
yeah, regular Space Force, because they
All
don't even want to have a reserve component, so
Right.
they're not even going to
Just dumb.
entertain a Space National Guard component at all.
Yeah.
So,
but but they haven't explained why.
Yeah, so the whole thing with the part-time, the way they're seeing it is, one, they don't want to grab people into They don't want reserve status or part-timers coming straight from the streets. They already know the time that gets invested to even get a well-conditioned operator to be out there. The other thing is the part-time allows people their thought process, not me. I'm just
All right.
so it's actually asking around. The part-time is more like, so let's say I did 4 years and then I really want to go to school, but I want to be part-time and I don't want a DD 214. So it's almost like reserving my spot for 3 years, saying that I'm a take my break, do this, and then go. So you actually don't even separate when you're part-time. You are still under the same component. You don't get a DD 214 or nothing
What are you,
like
like an IRR status or something?
that. Like IMA almost.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's something we
But,
haven't.
Convoluted.
you're not separating. You are not separating from the
gotcha.
Space Force.
Yeah, I
You're
got
still
you.
staying in. So there's no DD 214. Yes, your status changes.
Well, how do
That's
they fill that billet?
That's
It just goes unfilled, so there's sorts.
They've got to
like
have a whole
dog
other
meat after
packet
that?
of those.
So it's
like
funny because sometimes
PRs.
when I talk to some of the chiefs, like when like I bump into them and this gets brought up, I was like, look, man, I didn't have an appreciation for the reserves until I joined the reserve.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that there is value into having the reserve forces there. One, it reminds people that there's another life out there, but then also it brings experience there. So because you already know, like let's just use the program right now that we work on under OPIR and SIBRs, how much talent comes from the contractors that are reservists. And then
Well,
they
yeah,
also
because
feed
they've been there for
information-
years.
and then you
Yeah.
feed the information as subject matter experts
But-
to industry and back into the military.
Hold on the thing though. They stopped. So the main thing was that you didn't want people off the streets.
Yeah.
So you don't want new people, but half your really good young contractors that are coming in were directly from the reserve. They were freaking auto mechanics. And I mean,
Right,
literally
Right.
Army did 2 years or 4 years, got out,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
had a civilian job doing propane or whatever, and then they come back. Shout out Marty.
That's what
And then they come back in and you're like, oh no, this guy's awesome. And they
Sure.
get contractors. Like half those kids in Det 1 were contractors
Yeah.
after their first tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But they
And
maintain their time in the reserves.
yeah.
So, and they were doing the same job.
So not hiring, I always disagreed with that, not
Yeah,
hiring
and
people
then-
off the street in the
Yeah, I
reserve.
agree.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other thing they're saying, and they're transparent about it, part-time is not a career path. Not going to lead you to retirement. It's basically saying we're just holding your spot. So when you come back, go take your break, go take your hiatus or whatever you got to do, and then come back to us.
That doesn't sound like a very great incentive to keep
No.
people in.
And that's what I
Or-
say. It's like it doesn't.
Or Marty, if you were
or maybe they're
told,
doing it on purpose, not to
Yeah.
keep.
I
Marty,
don't know.
if you were a captain in the Army and you were like, fuck this, I'm done. I am sick and tired of it. And some of your leadership was like, okay. I know you want to get out. How about you just take a sabbatical for a year?
Yeah.
You go, you try whatever you want, and then you can call back and be like, okay, no, I'm out.
That would have helped
Or you
me.
can come back and you could be like, yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Boom. You would have
That
dove
propane
right back
job
in.
sucked. Let me come back. Right?
Exactly. You would have
But-
been you would have had a totally different career path if that
Sure.
was an option.
But take your first termer, right? And he goes, well, I want to go back to school. I was like, don't worry. We got your $22,000 a year job waiting for you when you get
Yeah.
back. And I'd be
But
like,
you know,
"What?"
anytime you're in the service and it's not working towards an end goal, retirement. Why am I doing
that's
that?
a tough one. You're
I like to
absolutely
go
right,
elsewhere
Eric.
and make
Yeah.
more money. I'm not playing that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it's
And-
not
and
going to count
now-
towards.
And now with the TSP, the way like the new system is, even if you do 4 years, you're still going to leave with some sort of 401k, right? So it's not a total loss.
Well, all right.
So I could,
I
and
can
then
see
I
that,
think,
maybe.
I mean,
it's
you
not
can
a
see
total
that, but-
loss, but it's definitely not good.
I just don't
Yeah, it's not
see.
good.
I don't know what the type of individual you're going to motivate with. Like, oh, don't worry, you can take a 4-year break and come right back in.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'll have my degree by that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but all the people in the reserve were like that. Like
Yeah.
literally Navy, we had people, Navy, Marines, everything, took a 4-year break and we're like, yeah, I'm going back in. Active duty was like, no.
Right.
So they're like, reserve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So part-time is really those guys that would have ended up in the reserve anyway.
Yeah, and then not only that, but like reserve AGR, right? So it's like almost like because
Well,
even
they
like,
won't have that, right? You can have that with this concept.
You'll just have active duty.
You can't be
Yeah, you just come back
AGR.
active
That's
duty.
gone. That's got to
Yeah,
be
that's
gone.
gone.
You'll just have active duty.
you just come back active duty.
And so, and also, will they honor if you come back as like, hey, I want to stay in Colorado? And they're like, nope, you're back. We're shipping you out.
Yep.
I
So-
mean, that,
Probably.
there's so much to try to make that.
Yeah, it's
square peg
convoluted.
fit
I know
that
that
round
there's-
hole. Doesn't
I
make
know
any
that they've
sense.
discussed about like trying to keep people located for longer times. But that also depends on career path. So do you want to impact on your career by not moving around, depending on what you want your vector to be? So like you could have more control of it, but it might impact your promotion.
I don't know.
I just don't get the reason why they want to change it altogether.
Right. It's just like they want to change it for change's sake.
Well,
Yeah.
and then, but the thing is,
Different.
so when I talk to them and I try to understand is that they're willing to try something new and not be like, well, this is the way we've always done it. And if it fails, at least they can revert back to it and say, oh, well, that was a dumb idea. So maybe we go back to the way it was and create a reserve component for the Space Force. But there's not going to be zero reserve component.
Okay, I say it's time to shoot this dog.
Yep.
Put that dog to sleep. Let's move.
It's a Cujo.
The great Eric has spoken, so the great Eric gets
Eric just
accommodated.
goes next.
Next.
I'm enough with the space. So.
You should have just done a freaking Mr. History's OnlyFans commercial in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they would have
interrupted
thrown it up.
I'm going
Yeah.
to put a card up.
Again, if we were skit writers, we could have done
For
that.
all
too.
your non-reserve activities, go to Mr. History OnlyFans.
You want to be active duty,
No.
baby? Come see me.
There is
There's
no taking a
nothing-
break on
There's
Eric's
nothing
page.
but AGR.
Now,
That's
Eric,
right.
are you also like the only person
games.
that did active duty the whole time? Eric?
I'm sorry?
Game.
Were you active duty the
Couldn't
whole
come up
time?
with an R.
Yeah. Active duty.
All right, let's do a feel good, right?
Woo,
Let's do
feel
something
good.
good here. From stripes.com, Gary Sinise reflects on the legacy of Lieutenant Dan and his work for veterans on the 30th anniversary of Forrest Gump.
Wow.
So I think it was July
30?
is when Forrest Gump came out.
It's been 30 years already?
Yeah.
No, that's what I
Unbelievable.
said. 30 years.
It's been 30 years since movie audiences met iconic disabled vet Lieutenant
Old
Dan, played by Gary
Sable.
Sinise. The character said Sinise recently changed his life. Decades later, when he would visit deployed forces overseas, troops would approach him but not know his real name. Instead, they greet him warmly as Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant
Uh,
Dan.
For Sinise personally, the role inspired a lifetime of activism and charity work for vets. As the movie turned 30 this summer, I think it was July, Sinise said he was grateful for the role that paved the way for him to serve America's military servicemen and women and honor veterans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's always been very active after that role.
It's
Like,
it says after the attacks of September 11th, Sinise decided that vets returning from the wars that were just beginning would not face the same indifference and even hostility that Vietnam veterans had. So he got involved. He began visiting servicemen and women, then formed a band to entertain them at bases overseas and in military hospitals. In the more than 2 decades since, his band has played more than 570 shows
Oh, wow.
all over the world. Their 571st performance came recently before a sold-out crowd at the Grand Ole Opry. 14 years ago, Sinise created the Gary Sinise Foundation. Since then, the foundation has spent millions building homes for the wounded, donating to families of military members or first responders killed in the line of duty. Each Christmas, the foundation brings hundreds of families of fallen troops to Disney World for a 5-day event known as the Snowball Express. And he said it all started with that movie. So
that's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
what is your most memorable either memory or quote tied to the movie Forrest Gump?
That's all I got to say about that.
Do you still say that or not?
So when I would instruct, there were certain like points that I wanted to make, right? Because you memorize kind of what you're going.
Yeah, your highlights. You don't want to read the slide, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So my habit was I would look at the screen, go through that list in my head, and I'd be like, yep, that's all I got to say about that.
I like it.
When was the last time you used it?
So
I like
they
it.
started calling me Forrest Gump.
They
Stop doing that.
Mine is my wife still does when she's in the bus in DC and she leaves him again, right?
Jenny, yeah.
And she's in the back of the bus and she knocks on the window and gives the peace sign. My wife still does it. And I'm like,
That's cool.
are you leaving me? I think you're leaving.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah.
It's just like a
So it always takes me
She'll
a
come
second to
back,
go,
but she'll
oh,
come
she's
back
just
with
doing
something.
a movie.
A heat wave.
Mhm.
She'll come back when she's sick. So
The best for me was the discussion between him and Bubba about the shrimp. He says
Yep.
you can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. There's shrimp kebab, shrimp creole, shrimp gumbo, pan fried, deep fried, stir fried. There's pineapple shrimp. So that's
Going.
there's a whole list of it. I know it's
Yeah.
super long.
Oh,
Right?
that was awesome, man. I
Coconut
love that.
shrimp.
That's true. What about you, Jake?
Oh, that movie does have so many one-liners, like
I know.
right off the bat. But
That's still used. And a lot of people
Yeah.
use them and they don't even know it.
yeah, that's
You know?
the funny thing.
I gotta
they
go
don't
Right.
even know.
late.
That kind of thing.
Forrest, run!
I always make my
Yeah,
kids
that one's
watch
always
the
good.
movie when they quote a movie, and I'm like, "What's that from?"
Oh,
They're
good.
Like, I don't know.
That's good.
You say
Well,
bye,
now
Felicia, to
you
me. You're watching Friday. You freaking get in the living room right now. You're in trouble.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's your best memory of Forrest Gump, Little Mule?
So I mean, I'm like with Jake. Like everything's like awesome about that movie, but I always like stupid is what stupid does, right? Like it's just like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a
So-
good
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one.
That was
and then like when I came in the military, like that seemed like
Some
all the
evaluator stuff.
that's what they would always say to me. Because
And some are unintentional. They just pop up because
Oh, yeah.
we had a brief the other day and we were back in the old part and it was packed. And I saw somebody, I was like, you can sit here if you want to. I was like, where the fuck did that come from?
That's
oh my
funny.
goodness.
Yeah.
I
Anytime
should've
we
told
get
him.
like,
Taken.
yeah, mm-mm. I got stung by, or I got a cactus burr the other day, and I did say something bit me.
Oh.
I'm like, ah, bit. When he gets shot in the ass.
Stop that bad bag.
Something bit me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We did take years ago. We did take a picture at Santa Monica for that pier that he ran out to. So
Mm.
it's crazy how much Americana that is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really- it's
the
really great.
soundtrack
And
was
it's
insane on that
yeah,
movie.
it's so good. That is so good.
It was an amazing movie. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's true. Thank God they didn't do like a part 2 or some shit like that.
Yeah,
And ruin it.
Yeah.
Good. 30 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That is crazy. All right, Eric, take us home with some military
Woo!
history. Here.
Yeah, he built it up.
Ladies
Oh,
and
yeah,
gentlemen,
you
I
did.
believe
You did.
I
You did
have
build it up.
history that
Oh.
none of you have heard of.
That's
Yeah.
really your whole
Oh.
job.
Well,
No. some
Every
of it-
week I'm
well,
surprised
no.
by this day in history because I have never heard of half of them.
Well, see, but
Like
okay.
92%.
So
actually, more than
you're
that.
just saying that I make it pretty easy for you. Now, see,
Yeah.
Marty's heard of a lot of history, so I gotta,
when
No,
you hit the 1700s, you got me. I'm like,
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
how
know
about
about that.
1950s?
Okay.
1950
Okay.
specific. Okay, not that far along.
All right.
Anna's intrigued.
Not that far along. You're going to be amazed. I did not know, was not aware that this occurred. So, August 27th, 1958. Over the course of 2 weeks, the United States Navy fired 3 nuclear warheads into the atmosphere, intentionally detonating them to test a Cold War military theory. If it worked, it would let the military harness the Earth's magnetic fields and weaponize them to disable any Soviet communications and tracking abilities.
EMP.
If it went
Whoa.
wrong, it could destroy an American carrier group. Tell me you were aware of that.
Yes.
No.
Oh,
Actually,
Anna.
You're a liar.
Actually, Eric, I have heard of this. I'm excited
Really?
about this.
Are you
Yes,
serious?
I'm right
This is a good
there.
one.
I've never
Wow.
heard of that.
Yeah.
So the name of this was Operation Argus. It was a secretive,
Okay.
ambitious military project launched in 1958 following the Sputnik panic of 1957.
Oh, that was 57?
So we were trying to,
Wow.
we were trying to counter the fact that Soviets could launch satellites into orbit, and even more so, had the missile capability to strike around the world. So the United States military needed a way to counter the perceived threat. So they've got a guy named Nicholas Christophilus,
Ooh.
Whoa.
if I said his name correctly. He was
I
a
don't care.
nuclear
That's sexy the way you said that, man.
nuclear physicist.
Well, that
It
was
was
not sexy.
theorized.
Yeah.
It was theorized that the radiation
ruined
belt
it.
would have military implications, including
Gravity.
degradation of radio and radar transmissions, damage or destruction of the arming and fusing mechanisms of ICBM warheads, and endangering the crews of orbiting space vehicles that might enter the belt.
Huh.
Guess what agency was supporting this at the time?
CIA.
DITRA. The
DITRA?
Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Had
Oh,
a
that
plan
sounds
here, so-
dangerous.
So
I like how they're threat reducing by chucking nukes into space.
Right.
We're going to reduce the threat, guys. Don't worry.
Jackass.
Quick, launch them.
Yeah.
So they launched the first one. The first one didn't go.
Oh.
So taking his theory, the Navy sent Task Force 88 out to South Atlantic Ocean. 9 ships, roughly 4,500 sailors, and 3 modified missiles made up the task force. An aircraft carrier, the USS Tarawa, was the lead ship, backed by destroyers, cruisers, and support ships. It was a secret mission under the guise of testing a new missile. To maintain cover, most of the crew was not informed, blah, blah, blah. If the Navy allocated an impressive, hold on, I skipped a part here. There we go. To maintain cover, most of the crew was not informed of the nuclear nature of the operation, nor were they issued radiation detecting film badges.
Yeah,
Only-
I need 'em.
Yeah, we're going to kill a few of us. It's no big deal.
Here.
Only the launch crews and the commanders, plus some experts, had any idea what they'd be firing into the sky, and they had a deadline. An American-Soviet nuclear test moratorium would go into effect in November. They had to get the test done quickly. So the first one didn't go high enough. The second one didn't make it. It was the third test on September 6th where the task force got the most results. It took a second to go right through. At first, the rocket failed to take off. Must have been a Boeing rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Eric.
According to Burning the
It's
Sky
the
crews on the
gravity.
USS Norton Sound, with the real risk that the nuclear warhead might go off. But eventually it was safely launched, detonating at the desired altitude and creating a massive display of lights. And it worked, sort of. The nuclear radiation from the rockets did have a noticeable spread via the magnetic fields, but nowhere close to the expectation. Operation Argus was technically a success, but was not followed up. Christophilus went on to work on other projects and died in 1972 from a
Nuclear
heart attack.
precipitous.
Yeah, that guy. The United States pursued other nuclear weapons strategies. Neither the United States nor the Soviet Union were covered in a direct disruptive nuclear cloud.
Now, wait a minute. Did they? So these were 3. Did the nukes go off in all 3 of these?
They did.
So they're like, oh, that first nuclear explosion, not high.
Not high enough.
Not high
Right.
enough.
Gotta
Yeah.
try it again.
Better, but not
Wrong
great.
angle.
Yep.
Wrong
Yeah.
angle.
Didn't
We hit
happen.
the
Make
wells
sure
anyway.
everybody has a little bit of plutonium in their system. Put it in the atmosphere, it'll rain. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't you kind of miss those late
need
50s,
that.
early 60s where we were just willy-nilly with
Here-
nuclear testing? You know?
By the way,
I always
the
wonder
warheads.
what the air military is doing now that we're not aware of or did when
Oh,
we
for
were.
sure.
point.
Right.
We won't
Yeah,
find
right.
out for
There-
40
there's
years.
some poor schlub 40 years from now. He's like, can you believe they worked on shifts that were blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
The
believe
warheads,
they're
by the way,
insane.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good
1.7 kiloton warheads.
Oh, God.
Fuse was set with a simple tie.
Mm.
Each rocket needed to fire straight up, made harder by rough seas and heavy winds. The first rocket veered sharply after launch and detonated far too low. The second launched on August 30, had better altitude, but still didn't reach the target. And then, of course, September 6th.
That
it
is
reached it.
insane. We set off 3 nuclear devices.
I had no idea that ever occurred.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
totally,
awesome.
I was blown away. So you had heard about that, Jake?
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I was
because
blown
that
away.
one was in a we discussed that because we were talking about nukes in space and how one time we've tested
Wow.
nuclear devices
I
in
had
space.
no idea.
Yeah, I think
And
we
it's-
talked about it in Space.
It swole the
200.
whole like ionosphere, and it was just like sucking down satellites left
Wow.
and right. And
Wow.
it took years for that thing to figure, like, to
Fix
correct
itself.
itself.
So it had
I'm pretty
nothing
sure
to
we-
do with trying
I'm
to
pretty
do
sure-
EMP. It was they were trying to
No.
spread radiation at a certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus,
If Australia ever figures it out, we're probably the ones that caused the hole over their ozone. Honestly,
Oh, yeah.
all the nuclear
Yeah,
tests in the
sure.
Pacific and everything.
yeah.
You know,
Sorry.
Sorry,
Well, they got us
Aussies.
back with the breakdancers.
Our
so
coral
there
reefs
you
are dying. Well, yeah. Oops.
Yeah, that was us. That was us.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that
We
what
had
was
to
that?
try.
I think it was the '50s concept when we were afraid of the missiles coming over the polar
Yep.
over north, and I can't. There's a term for it, and I can't remember what it was, but it's the northern line. You know, we were going to send jets with nuclear missiles, and the missiles were to fire, explode, and catch the incoming missiles in the plume of all
Ooh,
that
nice.
shit.
That's a good one.
That's
What
where
a
that
great-
old game of missile defense, if you remember with the big roller
Yeah.
ball, and you had to put the points where the blooms would come out, that's where they came from.
Huh.
And it's a
that's
there's
pretty
a
cool.
line, and I can't. It's like something line. There's something. Somebody will know it. Listening to us, maybe. But that was the '50s anti-Soviet ICBM.
Yeah.
That's
I like-
insane. We would have just
Oh.
irradiated Canada.
Yeah. All our contingencies, like missile defense and all that, are based on nukes or missiles falling harmlessly over Canada.
Harmless.
You know, it's like, what did it hit
insane.
California? Nope.
Like we stopped it. Good
Yeah.
on
We
you.
destroyed Ottawa.
And
We
did
didn't
you
know
say
where that was.
Well,
you
but,
got
Point to it
educated-
on a map. Show
you
me.
got educated on Argus and Space 200? Is that what you said?
It was
I
like
did.
a space professional class that I was taking.
Okay, so that's where you heard it.
well,
I
you
was
got
surprised at
Juan
this
and
one.
I who didn't know about it.
I
that's
was
for
blown
sure,
away.
so
Yeah.
that's great. Good
Operation
digging,
Argus.
Eric. Good
Ooh.
job, Mr. History. Juan, what are you typing? I
Yeah,
can
well,
hear your
It
keyboard.
wasn't.
It is
It
loud
wasn't
as
the.
hell.
It wasn't the 38 parallel because it's bothering me. It was like another. The 38 parallel, that's North Korea, but it's still considered part of the Cold War. But it's
Not
No,
Cold
it's
War.
like a distant line or something. I can't remember that.
There, I know what you're
There's
talking about. There was a line that kind of divided something, and it was about the North Pole, but it's like I forgot what it was.
Did it involve Canada?
No, it's like that's bothering me. 'Cause I remember-
Nuclearly, yes.
I remember talking about
Consent
it.
wise, nah.
Oh, it's the dew line. That's it. The dew line. Distant early warning. That's what it was. Look up the dew line as I hear your louder than hell keyboard typing on this.
Ah, the dew line.
Distant early warning line.
Yeah, the dew line. Look at that. Hey,
That was a
look
good
at it.
pull, Marty.
I pulled that from
That was a good
somewhere,
pull.
somewhere
Yeah,
deep.
was a
man.
system
Memory.
of radar stations in the North Arctic region of Canada, with addition stations along the north coast of the Aleutian
There you
Islands.
go. You're welcome.
Boom.
That's cool.
In addition, it had the Faroe Islands, Greenland, and Iceland. And it's just to protect us from the Soviet Union.
So if you guys, all our audience, appreciates the random bullshit Marty knows segment of this of this podcast, let us know in the comments.
Hey, what did the reporter say about Deion Sanders? He's the BS
I love
king of bullshit or some shit.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, you guys
probably.
didn't, you didn't hear about
That was a
Okay,
good
so-
pull, though. That's like the
Yeah,
second good
that was
pull
awesome.
of the night.
That was. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was some repressed memory from a
Yeah, I like
from a sober part of my brain. I guess I don't know. That was
Wow. You
Yeah,
got good connectors in there.
You're welcome. Go ahead and use that tomorrow, free of charge. Did
it.
Dew line.
you guys hear about the dew line? I
Hmm?
don't know.
I'll jack it up.
Dude line.
Well, I got to see one of the
A
old
dupe
stations,
line.
and then I do
The military
I do
invented
remember
Mountain
seeing one of
Dew.
the old stations
Long
up in
story
Barrow,
short.
Alaska. Barrow, Alaska actually had one of the old stations out there. I was actually able to.
Nice.
Oh yeah. What's the? Is it Air Force Base way on the end of Alaska that's close to Russia? What is that one?
Are you
That's
talking about
it.
where Cobra Dane's at?
Starts with an E.
Shimia.
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 That's right. See, I could remember Dewline. Couldn't
It's an Air
remember
Force
Shimia.
station.
We have
Yeah.
people there.
I know we do. All the way over there.
Crazy.
There's contractor jobs out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
what,
go
3 months
part-time
on?
if you want in the
It's like
Space Force.
3 months on,
Yep.
3 months off.
No golf
I don't know
courses
for
in the
sure.
ice, baby. Can't do that.
Yeah.
No.
I think that place has like an odd breed of like a Wolverine or something. Like I've never heard of this animal. I'm not joking.
Are you
Are
looking
you
for
just
more
trying to come up with
breakdancing
your
moves?
breakdancing
It's
move?
radioactive.
Your Shimio Wolverine move?
It's
It's
radioactive.
like this, then shiver.
Hold
Is
on,
it
I'm looking
the-
it up.
Wolverine claw.
Make sure I
Wolverine
can
claw.
hear your typing though.
Warm the ears.
The
Hey, we got an all new dance, baby.
Shimia
Nose
fox.
is cold.
Now, when we go to the dance club next time, they see us.
Oh, I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
bait Anna into doing it, but she's looking something up. It's
I'm
killing
looking
it.
at the animal. What?
Oh, wait, you didn't watch any of that? We were just trying to give you your
Oh,
new
no, she
breakdance.
didn't.
We were dancing hard for you.
Your Shimia Wolverine.
It's a Shimia fox.
So
What
it's-
did the
Oh,
fox
it's a
say?
Shimia fox.
What did the fox say? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's like it has its own song you just made up. I dig it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think that's end up on the Shimia fox.
Oh, lame.
Of course,
Mm.
if you are a woman assigned to Shimia, do you automatically become a Shimia fox?
Yes. Any woman that is willing and
Nice.
able to go out there, yes.
I mean, I'm sure the
Shimia?
security forces that are up there have already tagged her as the Shimia fox.
The one woman that's there. Yeah. The
Oh,
one-
yeah.
Yeah. That's not.
And
gonna
who's
go
more
well.
promiscuous than security forces up there?
Space guys.
Floozies, every last one of
Guys?
them.
Space
Yeah,
guys.
it might be right.
Harlots,
Those two guys. Space guys.
trollops.
But we don't have a cool car to go troll around Shimia Air Station.
Uh-huh.
You know.
They have Teslas up there, Tesla trucks.
Oh, nice.
No,
No, I don't know. I'm
Are you
totally,
making that up?
totally making that up.
nice.
Sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, it did.
No plug-in stations in the cold, though, huh?
All right, I got at least I got Anna's introduction next week, so that's
Uh-oh.
good.
There we
Oh
go.
my
Shimia
goodness.
Fox.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness.
We are at end up. We are at end up. Definitely.
All right.
Yeah. On behalf of all of us here and for our special drop-in guest, Lil Mule, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments, and make sure next week that you are not late for changeover.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That was a good one.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
of you.
I know you get such a giggle out of that.
It was a good sound effect. Good sound.
The banners are nice. You got sound effects.
Late for
now.
changeover crew. Thanks
Look
for the
at
week.
that.
Thanks for coming on, and to everyone watching and listening. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Let us know in the comments if you want to see Shimmy a Fox
Shimmy
outfits
Fox.
for
I do.
old
I
Eric
wanna
P.
see-
Mr.
I want to see
History.
the
though.
shimmy of Fox.
Mr. History.
Only in
he will
Alaska.
shimmy-
Well, wait.
He'll
Do you
shimmy
want to
your
see?
In
Fox.
Alaska.
Do you want to see the shimmy of Fox? Do you want to see Juanita Lopez with the finger
And these
trap?
finger traps.
Oh,
I like it.
Finger traps are nice.
Or do you want to see Mr. History Brave, the Velcro fastenings in the ISS?
What?
Yeah.
Whoa!
These are all premium subscriber options on the Mr.
Yeah,
History
it's
OnlyFans
it's not cheap. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
going to cost you to see that kind of stuff.
$7.50.
But you'll never go away. You'll always come back.
I'm getting rich. There's going to be so many hits now. I'm telling you. It's
Do you
amazing.
guys have a Labor Day sale?
Oh,
Eric's stuck in Velcro going, thank you, BA-43.
get out of here.
I like it. We'll run a sale for you, Anna. No doubt.
And Juan wants to wave, but he's like, "Ah." Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. God, that was ridiculous.